I'm family testing the base petrol grade of the Hyundai Santa Fe this week. And seeing as how this is my third time in the current gen Santa Fe, I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't have anything new to say. But the more time I spend in this, the better it gets. And in this video, I'm going to show you why this is what you get when you want the practicality of a people mover, but still want to be in an SUV. The Hyundai Santa Fe is offered in 3 grades, with the base and mid-spec models being offered with either a petrol or a self-charging hybrid powertrain. The model on test here today is the front-wheel drive base petrol model, and its price positions it in the middle of its 3-row large SUV rivals, the Nissan Pathfinder STL and the Kia Sorento S. One of the most appealing things about the new Santa Fe models are how well specified they are, even at the base level. This gets an electric driver's seat, heated front seats, dual climate control, dual 12.3-inch displays, as well as wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's not too shabby at all, but if you want the full specs, they are in my written review at carsguide.com.au. The new shape of the Santa Fe is far boxier than the previous design, but it totally works at the front. Really like the cool H design in the LED headlights, and the overall chunkiness is kind of mean looking. But the back isn't as handsome as the front. But I do like that those H design LEDs are found back there as well, and that you get dark tinted windows. The massive display panel really makes this feel like it's a grade or two higher than what it actually is. The dashboard is well shaped and complements the exterior size. I even like the tartan cloth upholstery because it's just something different and you don't often see a cool fabric in a base model. This is a very pleasant cabin to spend a lot of time in, and you're going to like spending time in it. The practicality of this cabin cannot be overstated. You get a stack of room in each row, and this front row feels downright luxurious with the well-padded seats and those heat functions. I've said it before, but the storage is people mover good in here, and you get lots of storage cubbies to choose from. I particularly like the dual glove box and the shelf in front of the passenger, and the center console is really practical. You get 2 phone cradles, one with a wireless charging pad and a little shelf underneath. In terms of the other charging options, you get 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket. Super practical. The dual 12.3-inch screens look fantastic, and the multimedia system is a really simple one to operate. The touchscreen is responsive, and this also gets wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the Apple CarPlay was really easy to connect to and maintained a steady connection. You get a lot of room in this middle row. I like too that the seats are comfortable with good padding and adjustable backrests. It's an easy row to get in and out of, which is good. And the storage and amenities are really excellent for a base model grade. You get 2 mat pockets, 2 directional air vents, 2 USB-C ports, a storage drawer, and a whole bunch of drink holders. And some are really well positioned on the doors. This row gets 3 top tether anchor points, which means that you should be able to get 3 child seats side by side in here. The third row gets 2 top tether anchor points as well, which means that theoretically you can get 5 child seats in here, which is great. Speaking on that third row, pretty comfortable for an adult even on a longer trip. You get fan control, directional air vents, 2 cup holders, as well as 2 USB-C ports, which is pretty good again for a base model. The boot has a level loading space and offers a great storage capacity of 642 litres when the third row is stowed. You get a full-size spare tyre underneath the car, as well as a powered tailgate, and you don't often see that on a base model. Our Santa Fe is the front-wheel drive base petrol variant, and this has an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine, which produces up to 206 kilowatts of power and 422 newton-meters of torque. This also has a brake-to towing capacity of 2 tons, which is up from the hybrid siblings. This variant has an official combined fuel cycle usage of 9.3 litres per 100 kilometres and a 67 litre fuel tank, giving you a theoretical driving range of up to 740 kilometres. So not as good as its hybrid siblings, but still sufficient for the odd road trip. And after doing a mix of open road and urban driving this week, my real world usage has popped out at 8.7 litres, which is a fantastic result. The petrol engine definitely has more pep to it than the hybrid variants I've driven. The power is super responsive, which is great, and you still feel like you've got lots left over when you have to put your foot down and get up a hill or overtake. Steering isn't too heavy, surprisingly, given that this is such a massive car. It feels way more nimble than it has any right to when you're in a corner. You get a little bit of roll, but it's pretty darn well sure-footed, even in the wet. The only thing that I did do while I was driving it, most of the time I turn off the lane keeping aid because otherwise you get a bit of a jerky experience on road. The transmission is really smooth and you don't have any annoying lag when you have to accelerate from a full stop, and that's pretty good for a big SUV. The overall ride comfort's really good. The cabin's super quiet, even when you're at higher speeds. And the suspension is pretty forgiving, so although you do feel and hear some of the bumps, you're not bothered by them. The visibility in this is excellent. I like the higher ride, but the windows are really large. I don't feel like any of the pillars are in my way for my driving position. It's a really nice, comfortable SUV to drive. Despite this being a really big car, it's easy to park. Most modern cars are easy nowadays, but this has a really clear and excellent quality 360-degree view camera system. You get front and rear parking sensors as well. Your butt does stick out a little bit in a small car space, makes it easy to find, but this is a very forgiving car for all different types of drivers to park. All hybrid Santa Fe variants are covered by a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from testing done in 2024, but the petrol variants are not. So this model is currently unrated, but it does feature 10 airbags, and that's excellent for a family SUV. And there's not much that this doesn't have when it comes to safety equipment. It has a 360-degree view camera system and a blind spot view monitor, which pops a video feed of your blind spot onto your dash. And that's not a common thing to see on a base model. Some of the safety tech is intrusive for daily driving though, like the lane keeping aids and the traffic sign recognition, but the full safety specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. Hyundai offers the Santa Fe with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which isn't as good as some of its rivals, especially considering that Nissan now offers a 10-year warranty on its models. Service pricing is reasonable though and competitive, and the 5-year plan costs just $481 on average per service. Servicing intervals can be a little bit annoying though at every 12 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. I'm so glad I've driven 3 different versions of this generation Santa Fe. Each one has brought something worthwhile to the table, but the base petrol variant wins again with its petrol powertrain because it's a very responsive engine, and you still get all the great practicality as its siblings in its cabin. This is comfortable and well specified, and that's why it gets the score that's on your screen now. But if you're after more details, check out my full review at carsguide.com.au. I'll see you next week.